You'll see on your screen right now the property information sheet that we actually use to collect information from sellers. Now remember, in my case, and I hopefully in the near future your case, a virtual assistant will be filling out this sheet for you and then sending it to you so then you can follow up. Let's take a look at it. In fact, what you're looking at here is a document that took me a lot of years to create, recreate, and recreate, and finally today it is designed so that anyone can fill it out and know the right questions to ask to determine whether we're going to get terms or not. And I'll say it again, our whole goal is to get terms, because without terms, we're out of here. Get terms or get the door. We're never going to go look at a property unless the seller has acknowledged that they're either going to sell it for what they owe, lease purchase it, or sell it with owner financing. If we don't get a yes answer to one of those three questions, we have no reason to go any further. If you look down in the middle of your sheet, you'll see very simple wordage that allows your VA or you or someone working with you to ask those questions without having to remember them. The top of the page is all about the basic information. By the way, of course, we've redacted the critical information on these sheets to protect the innocent. Even though I've left the street on there and the basic facts, of course I'm not going to print the cell phone of the seller or the street address. Take a look at the top and you'll see that this seller is asking $350,000 for this house. In a minute I'll show you a picture of it. And that the seller thinks it's worth about $300,000. So the seller seems to be asking more than what it's worth. Well, why not? Maybe somebody will say yes. But look down where it says your comps. This is where the student has written $275 or $285 because they've gone on sites like Zillow or Trulia or Redfin and looked at some comps to see what the houses were selling for in the neighborhood similar to our house, and that's what they came up with, which is good enough. From that, we've determined that the real market value of this property is about $280,000. Similar properties have sold in the same neighborhood recently for about the same price. So we got an ARV, as we call it, or an after repaired value of $280,000. Now, if you look in the middle, you'll see that the loan balance, according to the seller, is $300,000, and the payment is about $2,000. And look right in that down below on that block, and it says PITI. Yes, that stands for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Now, there's a reason there's a star out beside that block, and that is because, my friend, this is critical information. You cannot determine what to do next if we don't learn what the loan balance is on the property and the monthly payment, and if it's current or in arrears. And if it's in arrears, about how far in arrears. That block must be filled out, whether you're filling it out or whether your VA is filling it out. Now come right down below that. Now's where you get into the really cool scripts. If you look over to the left, it says, if the asking price and the loan balance are within $35,000, in other words, the seller is asking very little more than what he owes, then ask that question. And in this case, that question was asked because the seller thought it was worth about $300,000, but he owed $300,000, which led the VA to believe that he'd sell it for what he owes. And if you look there, sure enough, he was right. Notice there's a check mark under that in that little block that says yes, he'll sell it for what he owes, and he would lease purchase it. Look in the middle. It says if we agree on a price and we accept all responsibility for future repairs, would you consider a lease purchase? He checked the yes there as well. So in this case, the right block doesn't apply. Now look down below. Does it need repairs? No. That means the house is in excellent condition. Reason for selling, because it's a rental property. That's good. The seller's not even living in it. Now, when do you want to move? Well, the tenant is moving this weekend. What would that tell us? It tells us that pretty soon the seller's going to have to start making a $2,000 payment again, and it's likely we got some pretty good motivation to have a different exit strategy. Now look, this is a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2,500 square feet. Beautiful house, beautiful neighborhood, exactly the kind that we want to work with. So by looking at this property information sheet, we immediately knew it's time to get this seller on the phone, verify the facts, and determine whether we wanted to go to the house or not. So now let's take a look.